hockey fans. How y'all holding up? The Carolina Hurricanes currently sit at 38-19-6. There are less than 40 days left in the season for the Hurricanes, at least for the regular season. So I'm trying to figure out the best ways to enjoy the end of hockey season, knowing that there's a limited amount of games left. So if y'all have any ideas on making the best of the end of hockey season, please drop them below. Last month, the Hurricanes released locations called Canes Bars, which are places that are not PNC Arena where you can go to watch the game. So I found a place close to my grandma. Well, it's not close to my grandma's house in the country, but it's closer than it is to PNC Arena. So I found a place to watch the hockey game, y'all, down in South Carolina in the Low Country. And I went today to the Canes Bar down here, and I actually had a good time, y'all. It was only me and like two other Hurricanes fans and two Flyers fans, but we had a pretty good time watching the Hurricanes beat the Devils. A win is a win. Go Canes. Now, what did you just say?
Go Flyers.
No. Oh, they're about to play. Yeah, they are. Go Canes. So I'm continuing my hockey learning. Back in January, I started Tal Pinchevsky's book, Breakaway, From Behind the Iron Curtain to the NHL, The Untold Story of Hockey's Great Escapes. But a couple of things have come to mind as I'm reading through this book, y'all, because it's talking about those players that came from Eastern Europe to play hockey here in the United States. But one thing that has stuck out in my mind is the privilege that we have as United States and Canadian citizens or visitors to like watch the game freely and comment freely. Like in this book, like the last time I talked about this book, it was after talking about like the Prague Spring. But there was a point, like at one point, the book told the story of this journalist in Czechoslovakia, and the Czechoslovakian team won like one of the World Cups, and one of the media journalists like celebrated the win on television, and she lost her job and she didn't work in media for like 20 years. But I'm gonna read like a passage or two talking about the first player who came from behind the Iron Curtain to play in the NHL. His name is Vaclav Nedomansky. But check out this passage, y'all. Now, Nedomansky left Czechoslovakia with 3 suitcases, his wife and his child. And the reason why it was only 3 suitcases is because the book says anyone who like left the country with more than 3 suitcases would like raise alert to the authorities that somebody was trying to escape. So this was like, it was really, the book talks about like the danger, like, so these players were able to play hockey in their country, but even though they were, like I was talking about the media journalists, they were still in a bit of danger in terms of being able to speak freely and like move freely, but it was real precarious. So check this out. Nedomansky, along with his national teammates, planted the seeds of a new kind of revolution through Eastern Europe. Even before Nedomansky left the Eastern Bloc, his place in the international game was assured. He was like one of the best forwards in Czechoslovakian history. Like, he was really good. His 65 World Championship goals remain the most of any Czech or Slovak player and the 5th most of all time, while his 6 goals and 8 points in a game against Poland in 1972, again, that was after the Prague Spring, or during or after the Prague Spring, both remain single game records in the modern era. So when Nedomansky came to the United States and played in the NHL, he played for the Detroit Red Wings, had a historic career. There was some drama at the end where he ended up suing his manager for like over $1 million. The book goes all into it, but check out this additional passage about his impact. For succeeding generations, Nedomansky and his teammates would inspire Czechs and Slovaks long after the Warsaw Pact dissolved. That includes players like Jaromir Jagr, arguably the greatest Czech player in history, who wore the number 68 throughout his career to honor the sacrifices of the Prague Spring. It may have been reluctantly, but in the end, Big Ned, that was Nedomansky's nickname. Big Ned became a symbol of Czechoslovakian defiance, as well as confirmation that Eastern European amateurs could come out from behind the Iron Curtain and dominate in the National Hockey League. So as I'm continuing to read this book, it's really good and interesting. It just gives me a greater appreciation for us to be able to enjoy the game in the modern era, but then also hearing about the stories from players who came from overseas to play in the United States. So what about y'all? Have y'all heard about this book or have any thoughts about what happened during that time? I would love to hear about it. I'm really interested in making sure that I'm educating myself not only on like the rules around the sport of hockey, but also like the history of different type of players in the game. Okay, y'all. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye, y'all.